Good evening. Welcome to Hockey Nights in Vegas. Today is Saturday, August the 29th. It is about 45 minutes before puck drop for Game 3 of the Vegas Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks. My name is Eddie Rivkin. I write about the Golden Knights for the Hockey Writers. I am joined, as always, by my esteemed co-host, Joe Payne of the Las Vegas Advisor. How you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm doing good. I'm anxiously awaiting for the game that should have been played on Thursday, and we should actually be playing Game 4 tonight, but we're playing Game 3. And we're going to talk about this delay and how it's affected not the guys in the bubble so much. Well, it's obviously affected them. If there's a couple of bumps and bruises, they had extra days to heal up. But I think it's created a little bit of a divide among the fan base here in Las Vegas. Do you agree?
For sure. That'll be the disclaimer for this episode. Joe and I are not going to talk politics.
Absolutely.
Your politics are your belief. You're entitled to them. The players are entitled to them. The management is entitled to make any statements that they decide they want to make. What Joe and I are going to talk about first tonight is what the hell's going on with the fan base. They've had basically 3 years of smooth sailing. No real ripples in the water, everybody loyal, no backlash, no nothing. January 15th, they fired the first head coach in the franchise history, Gerard Gallant. Last week, we get a picture on the internet that we discussed ad nauseum in our last episode. They've had a couple of days off, and the fan base has lost their shit.
Pretty much.
I mean, there's no other way to describe it.
Well, you know what it is, Eddie, it's 2020. You didn't expect for it not to be crazy. This whole year has been crazy. And maybe the firing of Gallant was it was the tip of the iceberg.
It was the appetizer.
There you go.
It was the appetizer. I personally think social media only adds to the poison.
It does.
What
did we do before social media?
I listen, before Al Gore invented the internet in 1980. Oh wait, sorry, no
Well,
politics.
You said you weren't going to get
no
politics.
politics.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're a Golden Knights fan and you're on social media, you have been subjected to hatred, disbelief, disgust, loyalty, people talking about giving up their season tickets, people not watching sports anymore, all the most outrageously far in each direction responses from the fan base. I think the best thing about this is like what Coach DeBoer has said from the beginning and reiterated just last week. That's all outside noise to us.
Outside noise. We're here for one mission and one mission only. And, you know, there are a lot of times I don't agree with things that DeBoer either says or does. We'll get into that later. But that was perfectly said. They're there for one mission and one mission only, and that's to win the Stanley Cup. Anything short of that is going to be a grave disappointment.
I think that I agree with you 100%. I think that they know that there must be unrest. Ryan Reeves talked about it briefly when he was talking with Kevin Weeks about his personal story. They know that there's something going on. I don't think they know the extent of it. Like you said, one focus, win the cup, and that's it.
Win the cup and not pay attention to anything else.
But the bigger picture is all of a sudden what was once everybody rowing the boat in the same direction. I mean, these things have.
We've lost a couple of oars.
Yeah, I mean, it seriously split the fan base. Now, those people who said that they're going to give up their season tickets, well, congratulations. There's 15,000 people waiting to take it. You lose, right? And those people who blindly anyway, I think that they are having a really bad public relations year. I think they're having, where they were the darlings of the city, I think that reputation is probably permanently besmirched now.
I don't know permanently. People have short memories. People tend to forgive and forget. And I think the love and the the connection that this team made, from the players right down to guys like you and I, and then the fan base. I think the connection is so deep. It's almost like you have a fight with your wife or your girlfriend. You know, you get angry, you get pissed off, but then you let it go. And I'm hopefully that all this nonsense that's going on right now with Fleury and not playing games and people being divided. I mean, I have a friend, her name is Savvy, sits directly behind the Vegas Golden Knight bench. The best seats in the house, maybe for her. I think it's a little bit too low. And plus, when the players stand up on the bench, you can't see. She's she's like so fed up right now. And I have a friend whose wife has never gone to a game, but's never missed a game. Now said she's no longer watching any of the games. So,
See that, and listen, I'm not going to put on, the judge's robe and say that they're both ridiculous, right? Because people are entitled to their opinion. But I also, due to what the root cause of this whole thing is, I think that I disagree with you that it's just going to blow over, because it's clear that it's not going to be an issue that's just going to go away from the player side. So if this is, in fact, a plant your flag moment, and they continue to follow through and do the things that they say that they're going to do, how does the fan base come back together? Because you're not going to get people to change your mind. We're all adults here.
No.
And at this point of our lives, when we have a thought, we're pretty well stuck to our thought.
People nowadays dig their heels in. And
right.
What I don't like, or what I shouldn't say I don't like, what I thought the NHL was slow to react. It seems like they almost were like, we have to do this because the NBA did it and Major League Baseball did it. Why can't the NHL, and they've always been an independent, they've always had this reputation of being a bunch of guys who grew up on farms in Canada, Western Canada and Minnesota and all that. Just hardworking kids whose parents got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, drove them to the rink. They weren't coddled like these football players are and these baseball players who everybody just rolls out the red carpet for them. These kids got up 5 o'clock in the morning, skated, went to school, got home from school and skated. Their dads flooded the rink. So they come from good, I don't know.
Good stock?
They're good stock, exactly. But I think the NHL got sucked in here, almost like, well, we have to do it because we're going to look bad if we don't, because the NBA did it and the MLB did it. You know what? You should do things, and I live my life this way. Do whatever feels right to you, okay? Not, well, that's what is expected of me.
Well, for this one, they either looked slow and tone deaf, and then when they reacted and they made a decision, then they said, what took you so long? They were in a no-win situation. At the time that the Milwaukee Bucks did what they chose to do,
right?
Nobody really knew what the ripple was going to be. Nobody knew that the next day that they were going to have a meeting, and the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers both voted to shut the thing down, end the bubble, and go home.
Right.
With the enormous ramifications. But we're not talking basketball. We're talking specifically about the Golden Knights now.
Right.
If this issue stays, if this is the time where racism in America takes root and these organizations continue, what the hell is going to happen with the fan base? What's going to happen with the 15,000 ticket holders and the hundreds of thousands of followers on social media and all of that? I mean, is this a scar, or is this an open wound that we won't be able to make a scar?
I'm hoping it's, Eddie, I'm hoping it's a small paper cut, because my heart is deep for NHL hockey. My heart is deep for the New York Rangers and the Vegas Golden Knights. And, you know, my brother, who's a huge hockey fan, he's already told me he's fed up. He doesn't want to, he doesn't care about hockey anymore. If they want to take this position where, you know, I know we're not going to try to get into politics, but just play the game, you know, especially in this, we're all in a situation right now where a lot of things are not open and closed. Sports is a good outlet for everyone to watch sports. Now you're taking that away too.
I was asked by a doctor friend of mine, you know, where do you stand on this? And I go, you know, this thing has been an issue for 3 days, and I've been a hockey fan for 50 years. So
Exactly.
I'm not, personally, and, you know, this is the time where we can talk about I'm not giving up on
No, I'm not
hockey
giving. No,
under any
you know,
circumstances.
I think
I may
that
not agree with it. I may disagree with it. I'm not sharing my opinion publicly because, frankly, I don't think anybody gives a shit what I think. But I'm not giving up watching a sport that I've loved since I was 4 or 5 years old and knew what it was.
right.
And my hope is that the rabid fans on both sides of it will first and foremost tone down the rhetoric. Yes, people are hurt. Yes, they're embarrassed. Yes, they're walking, but you can still do things in moderation. People are talking about, I don't want to be friends with anybody who doesn't believe in this. Well, you're an idiot. Okay? Real life is much bigger than hockey, and this is much bigger than hockey. But guys like us, we love hockey. It's what we've known since, you know, forever. So, you know, I hope the fan base, you know, takes a Xanax, right? Smokes a blunt if that's what it takes for them to mellow out, right? And if you don't want to watch hockey, we're sorry. We're sorry. You know, you're missing out on a great thing.
Eddie, I can't speak for the rest of the country as far as hockey fans, but I think I can speak for the Vegas hockey fans. If we win the cup, this is just going to be a distant memory. No one's going to remember about the goaltender controversy. No one's going to remember who took a knee, who didn't take a knee. No one's going to remember that they didn't play for 2 days. Like Deborah said, it's just noise. Let's drop the puck. Go. Let's finish what the goal was. You know, the NHL did a great job by setting up these two bubble cities in Edmonton and Toronto. There have been no cases, no outbreaks at all. The bubble's been locked down. They even got it to a point where the players are able to go. A couple of players went to the golf course. Some went to the local football stadium where they were kicking field goals and soccer. So, like, just let's go play hockey and stop with this. Social media has killed.
It's a poison.
It's unbelievable.
It's the devil's tool almost, because it gave so many people so much room to vent.
I'll give you another thing that's poison. Cell phones.
Yeah, 100%. But try living without one for an hour.
By the way, that's the cover of my book that I wrote about the first year of the Vegas Golden Knights. But this, you see people in restaurants, couples, they're not even talking to each other. They're both on phones. It's this social media and cell phones have been the ruination of so many things.
All right, we got to get off it. We're on a strict timeline tonight.
We are.
Half an hour. So the hockey gods have a great sense of humor. They give the NHL a couple of days off. And what do? They turn around and give the Golden Knights not one back-to-back, starting with Game 3 tonight and Game 4 tomorrow night, but if the series goes 7 games, there's 2 back-to-backs.
2 back-to-backs.
3, 4, a day off, then Game 5, another day off, and then back-to-back Game 6 and Game 7. Well, that other little thing floating around in the pool here in Las Vegas is the goalie issue. Robin Lehner, Marc-Andre Fleury. We saw it in the Chicago series. Lehner plays Game 3. Fleury plays Game 4. Lehner comes back, wins the series in Game 5. A lot has happened since the Chicago series. We know for a fact Peter DeBoer does not care what we think. I don't think he cares about what anybody thinks other than Mr. Foley, who signs his check.
I even think he doesn't care what Fleury thinks or Fleury's agent thinks either.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that 100%.
100%.
He said, remember, we've talked about this before, in his very first media availability, he said, I'm going to put the players in the positions I think best to win hockey games. And when it comes to who's going to be in goal, the decision is mine.
But
And
that's
one thing
not, but yes, he did say that. But General Manager Brad McCrimmon said when they acquired Leonard was that they were
Kelly
getting,
McCrimmon, young man.
what's that?
I think it's Kelly McCrimmon, young man.
What did I say, Kelly?
You said Brad, his
Oh, Brad
brother who
McCrimmon.
played for the
That's
Red
it.
Wings
Yeah,
back.
well, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Well, okay. When McCrimmon, when they acquired Robin at the trade deadline, they said, we don't know whether it's true or not, they kind of asked Fleury how he felt about this. You don't believe that at all.
No.
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 But he did, okay, and that's fine. But he did say, you know, we need an insurance policy when if something happens to Fleury.
Yes, I agree with that part 100%. The previous backup goalie, if something were to happen to Fleury, they were not
That's why they traded Subban.
Agreed.
They didn't have enough confidence in Subban. They got rid of Dave Pryor, who was the in-house goaltending coach.
Who was there before Gerard Gallant. And just for the record, we both think that him and Gerard Gallant clashed an awful lot because Gerard Gallant might not have had the decision on who the goalie was going to be. Okay, continue.
Okay, so but what McCrimmon had said in February, we're acquiring Robin, we want an insurance policy in case, you know, Fleury has concussion issues. He's had them in the past. In case something happens, we want to be able, we're focused on winning the cup and we want a reliable backup goaltender. Well, guess what? The reliable backup goaltender now is Fleury. And
maybe.
No, not.
Eddie,
If you don't realize now that Fleury's the backup,
he is today.
I'll bet you one of those $100,000 chips behind you that DeBoer looks at Fleury right now as the second string goaltender.
He is today.
He is today, and here's what these back-to-backs do right now. If the Knights lose tonight and Fleury goes into the net, we don't really know if that was going to happen anyway because of the back-to-back.
Exactly.
Right. So, but if the Knights win today, which I hope they do, and Fleury goes in, maybe that says a lot that Fleury will play if there's a back-to-back, which means that Fleury's going to get, if the series goes 7, which I don't think is going to go 7. I think they laid an egg in game 2 there, and I think
they laid a carton of eggs in game 2.
Especially the defensive pairing of 3 and 88, but we won't get into that.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
They win tonight in a snoozer. Robin Lehner has 19 saves on 20 shots, and they win 4-1. And he barely breaks a sweat because the hardest he works is skating from the bench to the goal. If they don't start Fleury tomorrow night,
then
the question is answered for good. For
Fleury is done as a Vegas Golden Knight player.
Right. We agree upon that. If he has a snoozer and gets a win and goes both ends of the back-to-back, we're done, right?
We're not done, but Fleury.
Right, but we agree that there's no more controversy. The issue is basically settled. They think that Fleury knew about it. They think that his agent was accomplice, and they're going to look to move him, and that's going to be that.
And I guess retweeted or took a link from a story that Fleury's on the trading block, or there's rumors that he's on the trading block. And I'm getting a lot of grief. I can't trade him in play. I'm not suggesting that the Vegas Golden Knights are in the process of trading him while they're in the bubble. No. But what I'm going to say is that I can guarantee you that there's phone calls being made and received either from the Vegas Golden Knights or to the Vegas Golden Knights inquiring because teams right now, remember, there's only 8 teams left, which means, was that 23 teams are sitting home? So general managers right now are trying to project what their lineup and their roster is going to look like whenever this next season starts. Who knows when? And I would imagine I would be shocked if nobody has called the Vegas Golden Knights and said, "Hey, are you interested in moving Fleury? Because we're interested in getting him." Now I say that I'm not when I posted that story, I'm not saying that they're going to pull it. They can't pull a trade in right now in the middle of the playoffs, but I can almost guarantee you that conversations have been going on, will be going on, or are going on currently about Fleury.
I think that I think I disagree.
Really?
I think that I'll tell you what I think. I think that the team has already decided what the team is going to do. I don't think that Kelly McCrimmon and George McPhee, I don't think that they're paying this any mind, but I think on their notepad somewhere, when it comes to off-season, draft, free agency, which is going to be that compressed time they're talking about in November and December, I think that decision's already been made. I think they know if Fleury was complicit in what the agent did. And I think that I think that decision has already been made. I don't think that there's anything going on outside the organization, just only that the organization has said, this is a grievous error, that we're not going to allow this sort of a betrayal and we're moving on, or we're going to forgive him and we're going to see what our future lies in the net once we get through with
So
this season.
do you think that the Vegas Golden Knights are going to make a serious offer to Panda once the season ends to keep him in-house, so to speak?
It's a wonderful theoretical question. I'll answer it this way. If they've decided to move on from Fleury, 100%. They're going to move Fleury for next to nothing and eat some salary and use that cap space to offer Leonard a term deal, 4 or 5 years in the $5-6 million range, something in line with his statistics over the last 3 or 4 years. It becomes more complex if they believe Fleury. Then you have to talk about moving off a bunch of salary, and then you talk about Stastny on the last year of his deal at $6.5 million. It's going to take a significant trade if they decide that they want to commit $12, $13, $14 million in the goal for the next season, and that Leonard is going to be the heir when Fleury's contract runs out in 2 seasons. It becomes a lot more complicated. If they think that Fleury was a bad actor in this, they're going to move him for a couple of draft picks. They're going to eat some salary, and they're going to give that money to Leonard. I think that Leonard has proved that his previous off-ice problems, that he's past that and that he has them under control. We touched upon it briefly. I don't want to go back there. The reason he didn't get a deal on Long Island or in Chicago, why I thought that. But I think that I feel bad for Leonard, because he's the guy that's got a lot of poop on his pant leg and has done nothing but say every single right thing and be supportive and toe the line and row the boat. He's been, as far as we can tell, a perfect teammate. And his pant legs are pretty poopy.
And that's also been the mantra for Fleury, that he's the perfect teammate. Out of this one incident, and like you and I have said, we don't really know how much he was complicit in this agent's actions, whether he actually knew about it, condoned it, told him to go right ahead. But here's the situation. Let's say, for argument's sake, someone makes, and he's going to be a totally unrestricted free agent. Let's say Toronto needs a goaltender. There are a couple of teams out there that could use
5 or 6 teams easily.
Right. But here's Eddie. What happens if one of these teams makes such a great offer that Robin decides he's going to go there? How do the Golden Knights come back to Fleury and say, by the way, you're our starting goaltender now? There is just going to be a lot of water, to use this phrase, a lot of water has gone under the bridge already. You just put Fleury back into the blue paint, say, it's all yours, Flower, go ahead.
I don't think that can happen without a lot of.
We may wind up with no goaltenders.
Hello, Oscar Dansk.
What's that? Well,
hello, Oscar Dansk.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is when any proven NHL goaltender.
No. I totally get it. I think.
Wouldn't that be ironic that this whole thing, Lerner leaves town and Fleury demands a trade?
It's
and
20.
And he has a no trade clause. It's limited. I think it's to 10 teams. But he might say, I'm out. I don't want in. You guys totally disrespected me. I'm out. The Vegas Golden Knights go from having the best goaltender tandem of all 31 teams to having no proven NHL. That's a possibility. And to think of that is insane.
Well, I think the thing that helps the Golden Knights in that aspect, twofold. First of all, the flat salary cap. Most of the contending teams, not a tradition, as a business model, spend right up to the cap. Because in order to contend, you should spend every dollar that you have because you have them. So the flat cap next year and potentially the year after eliminates a bunch of contenders who won't have the cap space to make a $6 million goalie offering.
Okay.
So I think that helps the Golden Knights position. But I think the Golden Knights did this for the right reason, but I think that it's turning into a Pandora's box right now, and that
the Golden Knights have had two situations in this year, and they pretty much, in my opinion,
flubbed them.
The ball.
Yeah, flubbed them. Straight up flubbed them. They've surprisingly not played the public relations game.
Oh my God!
Very well.
No, but they've always had this cloak of secrecy.
Yes.
And there's two sides to that coin. Yeah, I can understand that, but when you have such a bond and relationship with the people of Las Vegas, the stuff that they did or have done or currently are doing, it stinks, Keddy. It stinks.
It does. It does. I agree with you 100%. But at the end of the day, honestly, I don't think they give a shit. I really don't.
You're right. When
I think they're
you've got 15,000 people clamoring to get season tickets. And fine. Have you lost some of those people from the I can't wait list? Yeah, you probably have, but trust me, there's not enough people who are giving up their seats. This is a very diehard fan base. Now, are there a couple of disgruntled season ticket holders right now? Absolutely. Are there a couple of disgruntled Vegas Golden Knight fans right now? Absolutely. But like I said, win the cup and this all goes away.
That's some parade we're going to have down Las Vegas Boulevard at night. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, who starts in net tonight?
Robin.
If they convincingly win, does he go back to back and sink the Fleury boat forever?
Good question. He tips his hand. DeBoer tips his hand if he starts Lerner back to back. He leaves you still not. You still don't know what's going on. If Lerner plays tonight and Fleury plays tomorrow, you're saying, well, okay, he's back to back. But if Lerner goes game 3 and game 4, the Fleury boat is taking on water.
What if Leonard gets shelled tonight?
Does he get pulled?
Does he get pulled? And if Fleury
Oh,
has a big game 4 and they even at 2-2, now what?
you would think he has to come back with Fleury at that point.
But he didn't come back with Fleury after Fleury won game.
And he played.
game 4,
He looked great. Only gave up 1 goal in game 3, right?
stole the game.
Pretty much.
But he didn't come back with them.
He did not. I think DeBoer has made it clear who he thinks. I'm not saying who he thinks. Well, actually, I am going to say who he thinks the better goaltender is. But like he said when he first got here, he's going to play who he thinks gives the team the best shot to win. And as a fan, you can't argue with that.
All we want is a winner.
Exactly.
That's it. All we want is a winner.
No,
Mr. Foley modified his statement down to.
And then in this era, like years ago, when like you grew up in New York, you knew Mickey Mantle was always going to play for the New York Yankees. He was not going anyplace. Okay, in this day and era of sports, whenever someone's contract's up and he's got enough years that he qualifies as an unrestricted free agent, and I'll give you John Tavares as one. I mean, he's captain of the Islanders. They burnt his jersey in Long
They LeBron'd him.
Yeah, again,
They
same thing with
straight up LeBron'd him.
Exactly. I mean, they boo him now. So to get emotionally attached to a player in this day and age of sports is pretty difficult. And this city has become emotionally attached for Fleury. He's the heart and soul of this team. And
okay, last question, and we're getting out of here because we're 2 minutes over our allotted time. I want the winner and the score tonight.
Vegas wins 4-1.
4-1. Okay. I'm gonna take Vegas, and I'm gonna say 5-3.
Oh, an overbet.
Take
one of those chips. Take one of those chips behind you. Run to the sports book. Hurry up.
Right there. 100 dimes each.
How much in chips is that behind you?
9.5 million United States dollars.
Pretty sweet.
I know. It's a shame it's just a picture. What can I tell you? All right, that's going to be it for this evening's episode. We're probably going to join you again on Monday night on the off day because the way things are going these days, there's going to be a lot more news than just games 3 and 4.
I'm sure on Monday we'll have a lot more to talk about.
We will. Everybody have a good night. Good luck for the Knights, and we'll see you on Monday night.